Hi there, I'm Lenny, and in this video, I'm going to discuss the film Fright Night, which was released in 1985. It's rated R and has the runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes. This is a non-spoiler review of the film Fright Night. The movie opens up and we are in high school student Charlie Brewster's bedroom, and he's making out with his girlfriend, Amy Peterson. Charlie wants to take things a little further, wants to push a little bit further than they've gone in the relationship thus far, but Amy isn't ready. So Charlie gets upset and he has a temper tantrum, and he becomes sulky because he wants to get laid. With Charlie being upset at Amy and Amy being upset at Charlie, this puts Charlie's focus and attention elsewhere, and he begins to look outside his bedroom window. Right next door to Charlie's house, there is a large abandoned home that has sat vacant for a very long time. And he notices when he's looking out the window, it looks like someone has bought the property and that they're moving in. So Charlie grabs a pair of binoculars that he has in his room and he takes a closer look. And what he sees is a couple of gentlemen carrying a very large, antique wooden coffin down into the basement of the house. The very next day when Charlie arrives home from school, before he heads into the house, a very attractive woman approaches him, and she's inquiring about an address. She's looking for a certain home. It turns out she's actually looking for the home of what used to be the vacant house. So Charlie points her in the right direction. Later on that very evening, or that same evening, as Charlie comes across the evening news on television, he learns that the lady that he spoke to was a prostitute and that her body was found. She's been found dead and she was dumped in a remote area. Charlie decides to set up a chair within his bedroom looking out his bedroom window to the house next door. This is when Charlie gets his very first glance of the new homeowner, Jerry Dandridge, and Jerry's not alone. A young woman stands near the window at the house across the way, and Jerry begins to undress her. Charlie, knowing what's about to take place across the way, and being a sexually frustrated teenager, grabs his binoculars. Because hell yeah, he's about to peep and check out what's going on. Oh, but our young Charlie gets so much more than he bargained for when he realizes that Jerry is a vampire, and Jerry was about to drain the blood of this young woman who was about to become his next victim. He was about to sink his fangs deep into that neck and get a little nom-nom. Just about as Jerry's fangs are going to enter the neck of the young lady, he looks up and he sees across the way Charlie watching them and spying on them from his bedroom window. As Jerry locks eyes with Charlie and he closes the bedroom shade within his window, a small smile plays across his face, and Charlie knows he is in some deep shit. He knows he's in trouble. The next evening, and being unaware of the situation that happened with Charlie's mother invites the new neighbor in. Being very nice and neighborly, she invites Jerry over. Now, we all know vampire etiquette. Rule number 1, never invite a vampire into your house. Jerry knows this. Charlie knows this. Anywho, Charlie's mother invites Jerry inside, and Jerry says he just wants to say hello and get to know his neighbors. And when he sees Charlie and they shake hands and they lock eyes, Jerry lets Charlie know, now that he's been invited over, he might just pop in any time of the day, most likely night. And he'll definitely be seeing Charlie very, very soon. This threat, which is a guaranteed promise, leads Charlie to seek out help, any kind of help that he could get. And this leads him to old-time horror B actor, Peter Vincent. See, Peter Vincent has played in a handful of vampire and horror movies a vampire hunter. And now he's the host of a late-night horror show called Fright Night. That's the name of the movie! Charlie has to convince Peter Vincent that he's not crazy, he's not insane, he's not making this up. He has to convince him to help him out before his family and his friends, and then Charlie himself, fall victim to Jerry. Some pros or cons or plus or minuses that I feel that the film has going for it are the following. So let me start with the the negatives or the cons. Fright Night straight up oozes the 80s, the decade of the 80s. And while that's not a bad thing for me, I actually enjoy that. I actually love that. People that weren't born in the decade or maybe not sentimental to the decade of the 80s might find it a little cheesy, a little boring, a little hokey. So it's not a negative for me. I'm all thumbs up for that. But it might be a negative for some people that find 80 movies to be hokey. There's an awkwardly funny scene that takes place within a nightclub or a bar, whatever it is. They have dancing and they have a dance floor. And there's a very interesting scene that takes place within this movie at that locale. Fright Night is very cheesy and funny, and there's comedic elements that happen within the film. I'm not 100% sure that that was the intent of the movie. I don't know if they were setting out to make a comedy. I don't know if they were setting out to make it 100% serious. But a lot of parts of the film come across very cheesy and very comedic. Now, again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That might be a minus or a con for somebody who's wanting a very serious, straight up hardcore horror film. Some of the pros and pluses of Fright Night are definitely the monster makeup. The prosthetics and makeup used look beautiful, they're brilliant, they're practical, and that's a key plus. I love practical makeup and special effects, and this movie has some brilliant ones. Veteran actor Roddy Mcdowell is within this film. He is playing the character of Peter Vincent. Peter Vincent is named after Vincent Price and Peter Cushing. They put those two names together, creating Peter Vincent. Chris Sarandon, who plays vampire Jerry Dandridge, is very charming and very menacing. He does a great job bringing those characteristics to the character. Does a great job of being menacing and being seductive and charming without going too far in either direction. Rating Fright Night on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the absolute best score that it could get, I give it a 6. We have now arrived at the interactive part of this video. If you feel that this video is worthy of a thumbs up, please feel free to do so. And if you enjoyed the video and you want to see others just like it, all you have to do is hit the YouTube logo, which is going to be down in the corner, right over here, and you'll get a notification anytime I upload a new video to the channel. As always, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about these things that I'm passionate about. I greatly appreciate that. Please be safe, be careful, and I'll talk to you soon.